Hello, my name is Joan. Today I'll be discussing Elizabeth Daniels' article, Sex Objects, Athletes, and Sexy Athletes: How Media Representation of Women Athletes Can Impact Adolescent Girls and College Women, written in a Journal of Adolescent Research. I'll be looking closely to answer the following questions. 1. How does Daniels' research intersect with the chapters reading this week? 2. What is Daniels' hypothesis about the impact of images of women athletes on girls and women, and how does she go about studying it? 3. What sorts of images of women athletes does the author find has a positive effect on girls, and how do you think this research could be used to change the way media presents women athletes? And 4, how can Christians use this type of research to share biblical and Christian worldview perspectives? And 5, propose a way to utilize research to help adolescent girls. In regards as to how Daniel's research intersects with the chapter readings this week reading ties into this week's article because it looks more closely at body disorders, which happens because of the perception one individual may have of themselves, regardless of what others perceive an individual as. It speaks about the effects of media and how it has on the individual in regards to eating disorders and body image. Then we go into the next chapter, how media can have different effects on different individuals. This refers to emotion, enjoyment, individual needs and responses and traits. Next, we talk about what is Daniel's hypothesis about the impact of images of women athletes on girls and women and how she goes about studying. So I look closely at hypothesis 6, which is an interaction between two types of photographs viewed in athlete status was expected. Specifically, athletes who view performance athlete image would display less state-like self-objectification by describing themselves using more physicality statements and fewer beauty statements compared to athletes in the other three conditions and non-athletes. Daniel went about studying this by creating a sample pool which she could conduct accurate research. She then gathered specific images, 20 of them, 4 for each experiment, of which white dominant photos of white women, because this is what was mostly depicted in media. And she created categories for her data and included the emotional tone of the responses. Responses were coded as either positive, neutral, ambiguous, or negative. What sorts of images of women athletes does the author find has a positive effect on girls, and how do you think the research could be used to change the media way to present women athletes? I believe she uses performant athlete images, and the purpose was to prompt a focus on one physical activities and competencies in girls and college women. Given the high volume of media targeted at girls and women that trigger a narrow focus on one's physical appearance, it is particularly useful to know what kind of media might shift one's focus to other aspects of the body. These images could be incorporated into media literacy intervention aimed at reducing self-objectification, stated by Daniels. This can provide awareness in the simplest way for young adults to grow up and love themselves, because we are all unique individuals. Next, we'll look at how can Christians use this type of research to share biblical and Christian worldview perspectives. I believe they can use this research to structure Bible studies to further develop individuals that may be insecure, self-objectifying themselves, and need to be aware of what really is being portrayed, so that they do not judge themselves based off ungodly and falsified pictures that are truly created by men. I also want to propose a way to utilize this research to help adolescent girls. I propose having qualified speakers traveling through schools, speaking to students about these types of things. Why? Because at a young age, children are looking up to role models that have doctoral photos that they want to be just like. We have to teach ourselves self-love from the start and fix the problem before it begins. It is not efficient to just speak about these things. Students should be actively engaging in awareness and a series of workshops that are geared towards life skills and happiness.